What's going on, everyone? In this video we're going to be talking about the one permanent change that becoming a fruitarian has had on my life. And it's probably not what you think. Probably not what you think it is. I've never really shared this before, but the reason I went fruitarian in the first place was to clear my skin. It's a very superficial reason, but it was reason enough to become fruitarian, to drop all cooked foods, all animal products, and just eat fresh fruit, fresh, raw, juicy fruit. The fruit that every human is so naturally inclined to eat. The food that you don't have to learn to eat. You just start picking it from a young age, picking berries, picking fruit, and just eating it. It's just the food, right? And so I became a fruitarian to get rid of my acne. And up until that point, I tried a bunch of things to get rid of my acne. Nothing was working. And then as soon as I went off fruit, boom, acne's cleared up. But that's not what this video is about. This video is not about clearing my skin from acne and having perfect skin. Even though people are going to say, hey, you don't have perfect skin, you have a fucking zit on your forehead. That's a mole. And they're going to say, oh, you have wrinkles. Yeah, I have some wrinkles. I think it's because I go like this a lot. And I'm always like, and so they're just like excitement lines. They're excitement lines, guys, not wrinkles. But aside from my wrinkles and my mole, I got good skin. Now, this video is not about that. The permanent change that being fruitarian has had in my life is it's allowed me to experience something that I didn't even know was possible. And because I've experienced it, I now cannot unexperience it. So what that experience was, and is just very stable, positive moods. Before being fruitarian, I would get frustrated, I would get flustered, I would experience anxiety and stress, and I'd have like heat waves of like anxiety, and it was just horrible. Panic attacks. It was freaking horrible. And like a lot of times I hated life. I contemplated suicide. I was like, what's the point of even living? Like, I'm just sad and upset all the time. This is stupid. And I'm angry, and it was always external. I was people and situations I was blaming my emotions on. But once I became fruitarian, I experienced just the best moods ever. And it was not something I expected to experience. It was just next thing I know, I looked back and I was like, wow, I've been super happy for the past couple weeks, past couple months. And then I got to thinking like, wow, I haven't really been upset in like years. And so then I started to realize that food is mood. Food is mood, guys. And when you eat high vibrational food, you experience high vibrational mood. Now, not to say that you just have to eat fruit and everything's going to be good, you're always going to be happy. No, there's a lot more to it than that, because around the same time I got into fruitarianism, I also started reading books on the power of positive thinking and manifestation, law of attraction. And I got into LSD. I took LSD a couple times when I first went fruitarian. And I never forget the first time I took LSD when I went fruitarian, what I experienced was like just the instantaneousness of how a thought affects a feeling and how that feeling affects the health of the body. And so what I would do when I was tripping this one time on acid is I would just think a thought, positive thought, and I would instantly feel how good that made me feel. Like, wow, that thought I'm deliberately and consciously choosing, that thought is affecting how I feel, my emotion. And my emotion is instantly affecting the health of my body. I would instantly feel energized and vibrant and radiant. And I felt like I could just live forever and wanted to live forever. And then I would think a negative thought deliberately. I was like, okay, now I'm thinking good, this feels great. Now I'm going to think a sad thought or a negative thought, like a judgmental thought or something. And instantly my emotions would change and the health of my body would instantly start to deteriorate. I could instantly feel the deterioration of my health. My energy would plummet. My desire to go on would go down. I could feel like disease spreading in my body. It was like instant. And I would go back, and I'd be like, oh, that's enough of that. Go back to the positive thought. And then instantly feel my body healing, recovering from disease, going back into that state of vitality. And it was instant. And I could just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And not only did my health change in those moments of going back and forth between thinking positively and thinking negatively, but my external world changed as well. The way I saw the world changed as well. The people I saw changed as well. Like I was like in control of how other people were acting and what was happening around me based on my own emotions. And you might say, oh, Ted, you were just tripping. you were just tripping. No, yeah, I was tripping. But what happens when you trip sometimes is you become hyper aware of certain things that are the case when you're not tripping, but you're just not aware of them. So it's not that when you're not high, thinking positively isn't going to make you feel good. Of course, it still will make you feel good. But when I was high, I just was like hyper aware of how thinking good made me feel good. And then ever since then, I've been still very aware of like when I think a positive thought, I feel good. When I think a negative thought, I feel bad. And so there's all sorts of words we use to describe bad emotions and positive emotions. But there's emotions that feel good and emotions that feel bad. And when we feel emotions that feel bad, our health just plummets. And when we feel emotions that feel good, our health goes up. And so this is like that permanent change that's always happened in my life now. Ever since I went fruitarian, my moods have been good, and ever since I took acid, I've been aware of like the instantaneousness of like what's happening inside our bodies when we are feeling good and when we are feeling bad. And so I just want to leave you guys with this message of, yeah, you can eat fruit, and that's really healthy because it's got nutrients in it. It's got fiber, it's got minerals, it's got life force, it's got enzymes. But also pay attention to how eating light allows you to lighten up. Notice how when you eat easy to digest foods, it becomes easier to digest the things that happen in life, emotionally speaking. So these are just a couple thoughts to leave you with here tonight, but I'm not saying you should be fruitarian. I'm not saying you should go take some acid. But what I'm saying is that if you want to be fruitarian, great, go for it. If you want to eat some cooked foods, go for it. Just make sure they're as clean and as simple and light and as easy to digest as possible. And as far as taking acid goes, it's funny how acid gets such a bad reputation, and I totally understand it. It's kind of like marijuana gets such a bad reputation. Yet here I am sitting in front of here I am right now sitting in front of a hemp plant that I've grown from seed. It gets such a bad reputation. It's a freaking plant. And mushrooms get such a bad reputation, but acid gets like the worst reputation of the psychedelics. Crack cocaine and stuff obviously gets a worse reputation, but LSD gets a bad rep. And yet whoever takes it, 100% of the people, well, I won't say 100% of the people, but I'd say a good 90-95% of the people who take LSD are like, wow, that was very pleasant. It was very pleasant. When I take mushrooms, man, the high is like up and up and up. I don't like mushrooms. If I do take mushrooms, it's like a very small microdose, like stupid amount, like very, very, very small, like almost. There's probably no point in me even taking a mushroom if I'm taking such a small amount. I'll take like a freaking pinky tip amount. I don't like mushroom highs. It's too up and down roller coaster for me. I'm all over the place. Do not like it. I've had so many bad trips on mushrooms. Not for me. Acid though, rather than being like a roller coaster of emotions that I can't control, acid, the high is like a 12-hour rainbow. If I take it like 6 in the morning, next thing I know, around 7:30, 8 a.m., I'm like, wow, things are different. And it's just like this long high, and then around 6 p.m. I'm like, oh, I'm not really tripping anymore. But I learned a lot. And I've only taken acid maybe like 5 times or something, maybe 6 times. But that first time when I went fruitarian and I took it, that's when everything changed. That's when I had my oneness experience, where I just instantly felt at one with everything, and that was awesome. When I completely surrendered my ego and just experienced being God, experienced not needing to speak. The thing about speaking, even I do it every day, obviously everyone does, but the thing about speaking I want you guys to consider, think about this. It's maybe too far, too deep, but every time you speak, it's just your ego proving something. You could say, I love you. What are you doing? You're proving that you love someone. You're trying to prove that you love somebody. You could say, hello. You're just proving that you're there and you see the person. You could say, hey, good job. You're proving to the other person that you think they're doing a good job. It doesn't matter what you say, you're always proving something. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not saying the ego is bad, but I'm just saying that when you're experiencing this oneness, or when I experienced, I'll turn out myself here, when I was experiencing the oneness, there was no speaking. Why would you speak? I was in a state of like complete, full understanding, and the ego was completely gone. Did not speak. No need. Because I was everyone, and everyone was me. And so when I talked, it was just like I'm talking to myself. It felt weird. So anyways, this video was supposed to be about fruitarianism. It turned into me talking about LSD, but whatever. Okay guys, I'm making a video a day for the next 30 days. Today I think is day 7 or 8. And if I miss a day, I gotta pay Ronald McDonald $50. So I don't want to do that, so I gotta upload this video right away now and then get to bed. It's 8:15 I think. 8:15, sun's setting. It's awesome. Alright, ciao guys, peace, much love. Oh, by the way, link in description if you're curious to know what I do for work. You guys might find it interesting. Might want to get started doing something similar. Ciao.